Hello and welcome to Unearthing New Vinyl, Season 2, Episode 26. And this week we've got a very, very special edition because I am joined on the sofa by Ste Roberts. We are going to talk through some old records, some new records, some exciting new projects. We also know Ste from the Ste Edits series, or Stedits, his own label Ste, and also as the voice of the long-standing Rinse show from Hypercolor. So keep it locked, we're going to go through plenty of new records and old ones.
You are now listening to the sounds of Unearthed.
Alright, cool. So Steve, welcome. Nice one for coming. Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So idea here, we're just going to talk a little bit about your heritage in the music, go through the music that kind of shaped you, moulded your sound, and then we're going to present people with some brand new music. Is that the idea?
Yeah, let's go.
So what's this underneath us?
Right, so let's kind of start from the beginning of where it all started to get good. I'm like cutting out the crap here, so you know, going through my days of being into Sasha and Diggers, prog house. Let's skim that off. Let's go to like where it actually like was a bit of a game change. So we're going back to 2002.
Better days.
I didn't have grey hair then. So back to 2002, my first trip to Fabric, kind of like opening my eyes to like a whole different scene, because I don't know if I've actually mentioned to you before, but to the camera, I was growing up in a northeastern town called Redcar, which is pretty grim.
They have a racetrack.
Yeah, they do have a racetrack. I went back there recently, and I don't plan to go back in a hurry. It's very grim.
It's not improved.
Well, it's got worse. I don't know how that was possible, but it's got worse. So it was a National Express trip down to Fabric to see the Fabric residents who were playing at the time, which was Craig Richards and Terry Francis.
Yeah.
And that kind of like turned me into this whole new world of minimal and London tech and things like that. And it was going back to Middlesbrough and buying the DJ Mag Top 100 DJs.
Yeah.
And it always used to give you like their favourite track. And this was actually when they were quite credible, because Craig Richards was in there, and Baby Ford All That Nothing was his pick for 2002. And I found it online at Boomcat. Do you remember Boomcat?
Yeah, well, they're still going.
Oh, right, well, there we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, Boomcat.
Manchester based.
Manchester based. So I bought this record for, I think it was like when records like $4.99.
Bloody hell, yeah. I remember those days. Golden age.
It was the golden age. And then this kind of just sent me on my like downloads of like rabbit holes and like finding new minimal sounds, and kind of it was just shaping of me. This is where it kind of all really started, I guess.
Wicked. Well, let's let this one run for a second and we're back in a sec. Six, so that's Baby Ford. Absolutely amazing record. The Shaping of You. So I'm guessing that kind of this era really sparked you kind of going out a lot more, discovering more music.
Oh yeah, 100%. So like I was living in Redcar, as we mentioned, but the closest like city to me was Leeds. So I started going to Leeds quite a bit raving. So there was nights like Technique. Back to Basics, obviously, and then there was record shops down there as well, which was my main reason for going down. So
okay. we'll talk about that in a
Yeah,
minute.
that will lead us nicely.
Little bit of story.
We do.
Cool. So, look, thanks for playing that one. Love it. Where are we going next?
Right.
Where's this journey taking
I
us?
have mentioned the London tech side of things. So we'll be going on to housey doings, kitchen spasm.
Nice. Okay, cool. Cue it up for us, man.
45, 33, what do you reckon?
It's anyone's guess. I reckon 45. Perfect. He's got it. He's in.
Right, so
Tell us a little bit about this and what this one means.
well,
where this
it was
sits in
kind
the
of like,
journey.
again, it was part of like the fabric experience that I encountered.
Yeah.
Was Terry Francis as the other resident, and it was all part
Are we
of
talking about multiple visits to fabric, or is this one specific?
It became multiple visits.
Yeah.
So it was after the first one that kind of like put me on my way, and then that National Express from Middlesbrough, which was a 7-hour National Express.
Oh, that must have been a grotty
it
old
gets
journey.
better. So it used to be a National Express to Victoria.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was like 18, skin, worked in like the local bar on a Saturday. So I had no money. So I literally used to walk from Victoria to Soho to actually UK House Records, buy some records from UK House, or UK Tech was it? It was UK Tech record shop.
UK House label.
That's it, yeah. And they did do UK Tech the label as well. So you used to walk to the record shop, purchase records, walk back to Victoria to put them in the locker, and then walk to Fabric to rave. So then walk back to Victoria to then get the National Express home.
But you got to pick your records up first.
They were in the locker.
Oh,
they were in Victoria. So it normally used to be me and my mate Pob, who we used to be part of the infamous duo Private Parts, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
And no one knew who we were. But so...
Well, they're going to soon.
But we were the ones that were mad enough
project.
to just walk all around London, then go raving, and then like get the first coach back.
Yeah, but that's kind of like really kind of like breathing in the scene, like really just being part of it, like a full dedication to
totally.
Your newfound love, I guess.
But it didn't seem like anyone else was doing that where we were coming from either. Like, there's a mate who put us on to go down Fabric in the first place. Yeah. But he was never there with us. It was just me and Bob. Like,
just like, I've seen this thing in the magazine. I reckon it'd be good.
Yeah. But then, obviously going there once kind of changed us. Well, changed me completely. And then, it's trips down there, trips to Leeds. Basically every weekend where I could go out raving. Yeah. I was doing it.
Sick. Okay, cool. And then obviously, so this is like you said, the whole kind of London tech thing. This is a little bit more upbeat from the first record that we were playing. A little bit more kind of going on. Yeah. So how did this kind of like shape things for you?
Well, it was like we were mixing it up. I keep saying we because it was like I was DJing with somebody else when it all started, and we were mixing it up from the whole minimal side to like the London tech side, houseier things. As I've kind of like later on found out down the line that like I was probably into like electro things, but I didn't really realise at the time. Basically, we had a very interesting relationship with. Do you remember Massive Records in Oxford?
I don't know. Tom will do.
Okay, yeah. So. Massive Records in Oxford. One of Pob, the guy who I used to buy records with, he lived in a bedsit. Yeah. And the guy downstairs had the relationship with Massive Records because he was friends with Ollie Faulkner, who's a resident of the city. Right, okay. And we used to buy records from Massive Records, and it used to be like we'd take in turns of buying one each. Yeah. But Pat, the guy downstairs, had a sell and return policy with them.
Oh, okay.
So, but he was letting us pick the record, basically helped shape our sound as well. So we were going to London and we were managing to get hold of these really wicked records way before we should have been able to. We kind of had it like fast forward into like these records.
Nice, okay.
So then we were getting the London tech stuff with like really minimalistic stuff as well. So it was like.
But obviously the Oxford thing gave you the like freedom to kind of like try things out and see if it fit with the sound that you were kind of trying to
yeah, totally. Which we kind of fell into, luckily. But we were like fast tracks, and then it was like this was the sort of sound that we were like really like we wanted to take down to Leeds, which was going to be like our next port of call.
Okay, nice. Well, let's let this one run for a second.
For sure.
freak.
Sick. So that's Housey Doings, and that is Kitchen Spasm.
It's Kitchen Spasm, yeah. I mean, these guys had it all going on at the time. Random names, funny names, bit of bants with their record, which kind of always resonates with me as well.
Yeah. Well, not taking itself too seriously, and that's kind of where some of the best stuff's kind of come from, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, with this in mind, we're going to move into the kind of private parts idea now.
We are indeed.
So where did that name come from?
Right. Shall I take this off?
Yeah.
On the same tip. So we're on Yuka House, or is it Yuka Tech? We're on one of them. Anyway,
it's a Yuka label.
It's a Yuka label, and this is Nils Hess and Nathan Coles. These were all part of the crew with the Terry Francis and that. Yeah. And then this was where the actual name was born of Private Parts, because we were looking for a name, being a DJ duo from the Northeast. And
it's the intro here where it's come from.
The intro, no, I'll only play you the intro.
Right, let's keep it quiet.
No one has the right to make you feel uncomfortable, and no one has the right to touch you, especially your private parts.
So if you caught that in the intro,
that's it. That's all you need to know.
That's all we need to know.
Yeah.
From that
So
one.
it was like, but again, it was part of the sound that we were playing. But we needed a name, and that's where it come from. So
nice.
Okay, so full 360 now. I'm just on the cusp of setting up Private Parts, the label, which
Wicked.
unfortunately is just myself. For anyone who's expecting this famous DJ dude from the Northeast, it's just me. Pov is still around, but he's no longer doing music. So here we go. Here's a TP of Private Parts 01.
Nice.
We have a sticker. We have some dodgy handwriting. Let's hope it's the right side.
So, like we said at the top of the show, we've got brand new music, although it's actually old music. It's a brand new label to us. So, tell us about the idea here. What is it?
Okay, so Private Parts. Yeah, so you mentioned at the beginning of my affiliation with Hypercolor, like being the A&R man there for over a decade. And I just thought it was time to, and the Ste labels and the Stead's been going well, so I thought it was time to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Private Parts seems like the right tag to kind of go with, so it's where I started my journey.
Yeah, it's very full circle, isn't it?
Yeah, and then the story continues. So we mentioned Craig Richards and Fabric. This is actually like an old Aubrey reissue from 1995.
Yeah.
And this was first brought to my attention from Fabric 1, which is probably the most impactful mix CD of my life.
And that is Craig Richards.
That's Craig Richards, yeah. So, and I reached out to Aubrey to see if he'd let me do a reissue. We come to some sort of agreement, and here we are. It's due out at the beginning of October. I've been told today, so date into your diary.
Yeah, so it'll be announced middle of September. The pre-orders will be live.
Exactly, yeah.
And expect plenty of promo everywhere.
Expect that, yeah.
So this is Helmet Purple Edge, yeah?
Helmet Purple Edge, and then I decided just to do a double A side. So the original EP had 4 tracks. I just believe 2 of them needed to breathe longer, and that's what we've got. So we've got remastered Helmet Purple Edge.
Cut to their own side, 45, nice and loud.
Exactly.
Wicked. So is there more for the label?
There is more. Yeah. So I've kind of got the first 3 releases lined up. The second one's kind of going to be like, it's a bit of a secret actually, the second one. It's a bit of a different twist and turn, but
Do not tell.
No, I will not. I will not tell. You to be.
This is enough information.
This is enough
people.
information, and then I will actually let you on to the third. I'm actually dealing with a couple of lads from the Netherlands called Young Adults.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we've put together the EP now. I've got a couple of tracks I'm happy with. I want to make it a 4-track EP just from them guys themselves. So yeah, the first 3 are in motion. The label is taking its shape.
It is. And keep an eye out all around London for lovely stickers of the label.
Yes, please do. I'll show you the stickers before the end.
Nice. So yeah, so this is the new label. Brilliant. Real high hopes for it. Like, good luck with it, man. I hope it goes well. So yeah, this is Private Parts 01, Helmet Purple Edge, and it will be out in October. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. So obviously this is a new project for you, but it's in the middle of an old story. So take us back, way back.
It is in the middle of an old story, right? So we're switching him up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so we're going back to Private Parts has been formed with myself and Pob, and we moved to Leeds.
You moved to Leeds,
We moved to Leeds, and I get a job in a record shop, which is still going.
It is.
The record shop's called Tribe Records. It's run by Simon Scott. Don't know if you watch this, Scotty, but all right. So what was that? 2003. I moved to Leeds, and started to be the man behind the counter. I thought I'd play this record because I don't know who knows Simon Scott or Tribe Records, but he was the master of dub. He introduced me to dub techno, the Maurizios of this world, the Rhythm and Sounds, and it's kind of like opened my eyes to a different section that I didn't expect really. And Simon has kind of been the man kind of many people's taste in Leeds. He's just an absolute G. If you see his record collection, it's absurd. It's like he's got like probably one
to behold.
No, totally. So yeah,
and
so I
also
was
the mastermind behind Outlook.
Mastermind behind Outlook and Dimensions. And yeah, Tribe's been running for over 20 years. And I don't know if anyone...
Took a little break, didn't it?
It did take a little break, but I think it was just because he was between premises, maybe.
I think so, something like that.
Yeah, he's moved around a bit. So when I worked at Tribe, it was like on 3 floors. We had like the Health and Techno floor, which was with me and Jay Kilker, he used to run a night called Technique up in Leeds.
Yeah.
And then and then at the top floor was like Electro and Electronica, which was Tom Knapp. And then downstairs were in his dungeon was Simon Scott with Iration Stepper's sound system, just like throbbing bass through the
So that's actually in the store.
It was in the store. It's not anymore. It used to be. And then so we used to run like I think the Sub-Dub's still going. It is, isn't it? Yeah. So Sub-Dub is still going, but it was all about the sound system. You used to walk in and like your whole body be vibrated. But yeah, you used to like go down after work for like mixes with Simon Scott on the Iration system.
Incredible.
Which was pretty good fun actually.
Sick. Well, let's let this one run for a second.
I'm like a burning fire. Leave me, you old vampire. You try to get ice scared, but I'm not afraid. You come with your evil last plan to overthrow I man.
Sick. So that's King My Empire from Rhythm and Sound. Yeah, so let's talk to the kind of record shop idea a little bit more, like Tribe, like foundation, kind of like part of your youth massively, of well, not youth specifically, but like part of your musical journey. But,
Totally,
like,
but yeah, it was like
shaped a lot of people.
It was in the era where record shop. Well, there was like 4 record shops in Leeds at the time as well, and I was gobby little shit at the time actually, but it's just like, well, I think I got the record, like the job of the shop. I was going in telling like the technique guys what to like order in and things like that, because I was like, I felt like I was one step ahead. Even though
mate, do you actually want a job here then, or what?
And then Simon just giving me the job. But yeah, it was like, I mean, God, vinyl was selling a lot at the time as well. It was like, and we had no online presence, and it was getting to the point where like we were ordering like 30-40 copies of certain records, and it would just be the regulars coming in and just snapping them straight up. And it's, yeah, being the guy behind the counter, it's quite an experience actually.
Well, I bet it was like a hive of activity, because it's quite different now. You walk into a record shop now, it's like there's a lot less people around, and it's not like got the buzz that it could
totally. I find that now myself, and like again, I was quite like excitable the fact that I was there, so I was probably in like people's faces a bit like, what's that film again where like he's in the record shop and he's like,
oh, it's a Human Traffic.
Human Traffic. I
was
probably that man, like, but like really young,
Cool,
really, really like energetic. I mean, like Simon Scott, if you've met him, is probably the complete opposite to that. So he was like, what's this guy all about? But it works. I mean, the people that used to come through the store were all like all the Back to Basics guys. So like all your Paul Wolford, who's Special Requests.
Yeah,
he was probably one of the best clients actually, or customers, because he had an open mind, and he'd come in and listen to like pile records like that and buy half of them.
And it wouldn't be specifically any one sound.
Not exactly. You'd be going upstairs, you'd be going downstairs, and then like anyone coming to play like the top nights like Technique and Basics, they'd come into the store as well. So yeah, it was exciting for me anyway. Like,
yeah, I can imagine, because it's just like that era's kind of like, it's gone. It's probably not going to come back with the introduction of the internet and the kind of access everyone's got to music. Kind of they make their decisions before even like seeing the record these days.
Yeah,
it's completely different landscape.
Totally. Like I was kind of like, I mean, I don't know if I could actually pinpoint anyone, but like probably was like the reason for some other people's taste in music, you know, like.
Well, yeah, obviously, because people are going to want to come and see you as like the record store guy, and you're going to influence their taste a little bit.
Yeah,
and you know, when I used to go record shopping, it was the same for me. It was just like, what have you got in? And it's like, oh, this is a sick record. You're like, he thinks it's wicked. Yeah, absolutely. So being in that environment, obviously, your taste's going to be affected, because you're going to discover new stuff all the time. There's a plethora of kind of like new sounds coming into the shop. So
yeah,
so what happened to you?
Well, what happened to you? It's probably best we don't talk about that on camera. Well, look, it opened my eyes, my ears, and broadened my horizons of what I was actually into.
Yeah.
And like I say, we had Tom Knapp upstairs doing like the more electro side of things, and then this. At the time, this was like, so this is 2003, so this is like bang on my era. This was like a new record at the time when I started working there. And it was the first record that I actually bought 2 copies of, because I was so scared of losing one of them, or one of them breaking.
It's been reissued.
It's been reissued on Delson. It's been reissued a couple of times actually, I think. It's like, it's definitely on Delson now.
Yeah.
I don't think AI is still going, is it?
No, not as far as I know. I mean, it might be, but I haven't seen anything new. So this is Clara Intellecto.
Yeah, Clara Intellecto, Peace of Mind. This is definitely where like the first like record that I do recall being electro. So, and then this opened my eyes, and going on further down into who I am now, like, you know, from DJing, it's like it's house, techno, electro, and like everything kind of in between. My productions now, which is coming further down the line, it's house, techno, and electro. So
yeah, definitely. So this is something that's really influenced your sound. But however, you probably, this is the first time you really recognised that, I suppose.
Yeah, totally. It's a standout record for us at the time.
With kind of like going to London and Fabric, and then obviously massive in Oxford.
Yeah.
You said you didn't really realise it.
Didn't
however,
realise.
this is-
Yeah, no, totally. And then this was the one where it was like, and then like Technique was the night that I was like kind of going to quite a bit. They'd be booking like electro artists, so it'd be like a night of electro, and then again it'd be like, God, yeah, that was where it all kind of kicked off for me there, really.
Okay, nice. So we're working in Tribe.
We're working Tribe.
Very exciting. You're discovering a lot of new music.
Yeah.
Are you still private parts at this point?
I was to the start of my job in Tribe, but then Pob, which was the other half of Private Parts, decided to go back home, and I stuck it out in Leeds basically. So I continued to work in the record shop. That's when Private Parts was no longer.
Yeah.
And I've not become Ste Roberts. I am Ste Roberts, but that's where I just started. I started to DJ out on my own, basically. So, and I was like playing at like nights such as like Technique.
Yeah.
It's kind of like all the other nights that were like running around Leeds at the time. I was like resident night called Room 237.
Yeah. Okay.
Which actually I think is still going, but over in Bristol now.
Right. Okay. And that was in Leeds at the time.
That was in Leeds at the time. Yeah. So, and then there was like nights and parties, like the garden parties and things like that, which kind of come after time, but like this whole time was when I was in the record shop, and
you were kind of honing your craft as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I got paid in records, so it's like, I got like so much of a wage and then so much of a bag of records every week. So I've got an insane amount of records, and funny enough, they all kind of do go full circle. Records like this stay around forever. Like this could be, it's going to be played like any time. The last 19 years it's been out.
It still kind of sounded current. I can't remember, the reissue's got to have been like what 2019 on Delson, something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Then it sounded like a new record.
It's mad, isn't
but
it?
like you've got like new people doing that kind of sound and like going back to the older sound, but this just sounded so fresh at the time.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, if I could have ever recreated a record, it'd be this one right now.
It's
tried.
incredible. Such a great record. So you're talking about DJing around Leeds and starting to kind of get your craft, like hone your sound a little bit. Where did it kind of like take off from there, where you kind of went to another city or got the big exciting booking that you were like, wow, okay, this is something that I'm really going to be doing?
So when kind of towards the end of my days at Tribe, it was only like just through the digital boom really. I don't know if you remember that, where like record shops, just the sales just went straight down, and obviously no online presence, and that's when Tribe went into not difficulty, but it's when they couldn't really afford me to
just
stay
kind
on.
of trimmed it a little bit.
I probably needed to grow up and like go and earn some money.
Yeah.
But I started working for a record label, which actually is a record label called Immigrant Records.
Yeah.
So I was kind of helping them out with the sound, and then that was getting me some London DJ bookings.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. The boys out of town.
Yeah. Been unleashed on the world.
So we
Sharpy little fella from the record shop was actually allowed in the DJ booth.
Well, is it T-Bar? So I remember the old the original T-Bar.
Yeah.
So we're doing parties down there, immigrant parties, and then that kind of led me on quite quickly to meet the Hypercolor boys.
Right. Okay.
So, yes.
We'll talk about Jamie and that in a little minute.
Yeah.
Conscious this one's running out of time.
Okay.
We could listen to the whole thing. However, we should probably
move on.
And we are going to move into Hypercolor.
We're going to move into
Hypercolor. Perfect timing. So tell me about Hypercolor, because you've been the voice of that radio show on Rinse for how many years now?
I feel like that's nearly a decade. I've lost track. I
think it is.
Honestly,
I
lost
think
track.
it is.
It started on a Sunday.
Yeah.
It was on Sunday afternoon, and then they realised that we maybe weren't too reliable to do a Sunday afternoon, so they quickly moved us to a Friday night.
Managed to drag you out.
Yeah,
of some house
Friday night, so it was like 11 till 1 every Friday night. I used to travel down from Leeds to kind of do the show.
Right, okay, so you're still in Leeds at this point.
Yeah, Jamie was doing half of it. I was doing half of it. Alex had kind of like gone on to bigger and better things by doing Dents and Pika, so he wasn't really asked about Rinse. But we'd all kind of been working together with Hypercolor for years actually. So what was it, 2007 I think I started with the boys. Like they'd already set the label up. They were like 7 or 8 records deep, and then I kind of joined.
Jamie's in Bristol at this point, right?
Jamie was in Brighton at this time.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So this is early
Even
Jamie
worse.
days.
Yeah.
So Jamie was in Brighton, Alex was in London, and I was in Leeds. So we were trying to cover the whole of the UK.
Triangle.
Yeah. And yeah, we were all just kind of like, we were just in love with like underground house and techno, which was kind of where Hypercolor was at the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was a kind of trailblazer in terms of like some of the sound they put together, because like from an A&R perspective, like Jamie's one of the top guys out there. Like the stuff he discovers is incredible. You've got you as well, and Alex. It's all kind of like,
it was one of those. We were all kind of bringing someone different to the table every now and again. Like, I mean, God, it was when the days of like signing Maya Jane Coles, and she was unheard of. And I mean, it was kind of like catapulted Hypercolor into a different area.
household name now, isn't she?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I think she was saying like when she phoned up O2 and like sort of phone contract out, and they're like, "Are you the Maya Jane Coles?" So she's like, yeah, that's when you know you've made it.
You're like, I found her. It was me.
But no, you're right. It's so true what you just said about Jamie. Jamie was. It's always like he's always been the main one. It's always trying to get Jamie's seal of approval, which is funny for me playing this now, because this is my own record on Hypercolor. It took me, when was this? Last year it came out? It took me till 2001 to finally get Jamie's seal of approval to like 21.
Yeah,
that's it. So
finally,
I
you got there in the end.
I made it.
Well, let's let this one play out for a little minute then. Okay, cool. So you got the seal of approval from Jamie at this point.
Finally.
On Hypercolor, the label you've been A&R'ing for many years prior to this. I feel like we've missed a massive part out of this story though.
What have we missed?
Well, the lucky little DJ from the record shop's actually making tunes now.
That's a very valid point, actually.
Yeah.
Okay,
So tell us where this came from.
So, I basically started making tunes because I wanted to get more DJ bookings. It's the honest and humble answer that I can just be.
Well, it's the best way to be. You might as well tell us the truth.
Well, yeah, and it was one of these because Alex was the producer, me and Jamie were kind of like the guys behind the scene sort of thing, and now obviously Jamie's making a lot of music actually.
He is. That low-end activist album on Sneaker.
Oh, he's smashed it, hasn't he? Good on Jamie. Well up, big up. So it was a case of I wanted to start making tunes, and I actually did get like a little like Ableton crash course from Alex Jones.
Yeah.
And then obviously part of the Hypercolor family was Tom DeMack, and he's like, you need to buy kit. I regret him ever saying that for me now because I've got a kit addiction. I just keep buying new bits and bobs. But yeah, I started to make tunes, and like my first release was actually a track called Booze. I don't have it with me, sorry.
That's imagine it.
Yeah, I know, yeah. The writer was just like, who is this? Figuring like some beef and kid from the strip or something like that. But it was actually like a dub techno thing, going back to my dub techno sort of like inspiration. And it was on nicely. Fear of Flying, which was funny enough, the label run from Jay, who was the guy behind the camera at Massive Records that was sending me the records back in the day.
Mind blown, it's just all linked
right, isn't it?
Together,
it's all linked, join the dots. So yeah, so I started to produce, and yeah, bit by bit you kind of get a little bit better. Like I say, this was 2021. This is a tune actually written in lockdown, when I had nothing else to do other than make tunes.
Like many of us,
and booze.
Make tunes and
taking
booze.
it back to booze.
Oh, amazing. So, okay, so you're now making, actually quickly touch on Tom DeMack. he actually writes with a hell of a lot of people, isn't he? He's actually uncredited.
He
for
really
kind of
is
a
actually.
lot of
Tom's
stuff.
probably the best in the studio that you could ever witness. I mean, the first time I ever seen him, it's like on 2 keyboards. I'm like, how's he doing that? I can't even press 1 key.
It's like, hang on, can we get that drum and the hi-hat sorted, please?
Oh yeah, but I mean, I actually had a little project with Tom DeMac where we were calling ourselves Escort and Sarah.
Right, okay. I've not heard of that
Yeah,
one.
no, we
Escorting Sarah.
Escorting Sarah.
Okay.
We had to drop the name. We had to just stop it because we'd be arguing over a hi-hat basically for about a day, and then we were like a married couple, so it was just like to keep the friendship, we had to kind of just move on.
No more production.
I think 2 men doing Escort and Sarah right now would probably not be like well respected. So.
No, potentially cancelled on Twitter.
so we had Tom. So Tom is a genius, and he's like, yeah, he's kind of helping a lot of people behind the scenes.
It's part of a lot of the kind of behind a lot of the production of a lot of records that we've been through here and that we've seen, but kind of keeps it under the radar.
It does.
Yeah, sick producer. Right, this one's about to run out as well, so we are going to move on to another one of your productions.
We are, and
this is the minting of.
This is the start of Ste. So this is Ste 01. Again, this was me getting very frustrated about sending demos out to record labels and never hearing anything back, and it was Jamie who was just like, just do your own label, create your own destiny, you know. He's like, you put out good enough records and then people come to you eventually, which, to be fair to him, it's actually paying off now.
It's exactly what's happened, isn't it?
It's exactly what's happened, and like, what am I now? I think this started in 2017, 2018. So finally, I mean, it's taken its time. I've only done 6 releases. They were all my own productions.
I'm proud of them. They sound amazing.
Oh, cheers.
Big fans of them here. Quite a few of the guys actually grabbed the records anyway, so they're excited about a new Ste release. We'll talk about the kind of side projects and bits and bobs that you've been doing with that in a minute. We'll just let this one run.
Yeah.
This is kind of like big evolution of your sound. This is where you kind of found your niche. Do you think?
I think so. Yeah. This is
fair.
like this is the start of it, basically. So this is like, I suppose, all of like my influences over the years of like from the Baby Falls through to the London tech scene, then with like the element of electro. It's kind of got a bit of everything in there. Pretty much a roller, which is, again, if anyone who's seen me DJ or who knows my sound, this is kind of what I probably do best.
Yeah, and you know, it's obviously like an amalgamation of all of the influences, like you said, over the years, and it's come kind of good in the production, and you're like, you know, you've really kind of honed your own sound. I mean, it's definitely distinctive.
Right, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
And I mean, you've also got like, in terms of the beats that you're producing, you've got a more kind of jack inside to it as well, I would say.
Nice.
And that comes in the form of the steadics.
It does come in the form of the steadics.
And that would link.
Should we
quite
move
nicely.
in
We'll
straight
move
away?
into a bit of steadic action.
This is actually a world exclusive.
Exclusive, first time on radio or
First
TV
time.
or YouTube or wherever you're going to watch this.
This is a test press of Steady 05, which we don't actually have a release date on yet. It's that much of a new record. I don't know if it's 45 or 33.
It's 45 this, isn't it?
Is it? It is. Okay, but actually, again, this kind of like, you can hear already like the London tech, the breaking side of things in there. Yeah, no, so the Steady. So my extension to my Ste label was the Ste Roberts, and it was funny because it was you guys helped me out with this actually, but it was the record where I'd done an edit of basically. The wife bought me an old record for Christmas. She paid over £100 for it. It had no beats behind it. It was 2 minutes long, and I wanted it to be a little bit longer. So my Ste Roberts one was kind of born from that concept, and then I kind of kept it rolling through the wife. As in, like, the next one was the Lumedy, which was obviously trying to make a track with my kind of signature, but with a vocal over it, so it appeals to probably the masses, I guess.
Dance floor.
Yeah, the dance floor. Get the girls on the dance floor.
Absolutely. I mean, that's sort of like the target. Get the lovely ladies out there. And they'll follow.
Exactly that. And it was probably one that my wife would probably get on the dance floor to quicker than the other Ste records. So that was the idea. That's where the Ste concept come from. And then,
that's kind of perfect, isn't it? Because you kind of done, the point of it was for your own benefit, so that you could extend out a record, and then it's kind of born an idea.
Totally.
That Lumedy record, I mean, in its own right, it's a big tune, but add those absolutely banging beats to it that you managed to do, which kind of became the signature, I think, of the Ste Roberts kind of series.
Yeah, totally.
You got yourself a banger on your hands, and to be fair, it didn't really do that well to start with, did it? But something changed it.
Yeah, something changed it. I mean, yeah, it didn't actually. It was one of those. I think it was like 3 years, and then in lockdown, Quartet, Boiler Room, he's playing it. Like, it was a real weird scenario as well, because we're having like one of our meals. We were having one of our meals in because we could go out. Yeah. And we put his Boiler Room on like the day after he'd recorded it, and I could hear it coming in, and I was like, oh my god, it sounds like my edit. Like, and then like it was in its full bloom, and it was like, it's fully my edit. Food went down, the wine come out. It was like, I just couldn't believe it. Obviously, Quartet's a massive like inspiration in my life. I mean, our first dance at our wedding was Quartet, so the fact he's then playing my edit was a bit.
Which tune?
It was at 2021, is it?
Yeah.
Was it 2020? Whichever one's written out, something 2020.
Yeah.
Or 2019. Is it 2019? I don't know what it is.
Can't they speak? Because the wife don't want to know. You'll be in trouble when you get home. The Quartet track. And then, so you've got one of your kind of your inspirations playing your tune, and it did. All the rest of the copy sold out. They did. Next thing we knew, we were just like, oh, hang on, better dust them off.
So, and then we repressed it, and then 2 years later he's playing it again. Like, so literally on the day before the repress, he's playing it in like Lost Village. We sold out the others. So if you want a copy, it's done really well. So it's just kind of led me on to do 3, 4, and then the ideas just come to me kind of randomly. Ste Roberts 5, I'm honest, I think it's my favourite.
Yeah, when you sent it to me, I agree with you totally. I was just like, this is a standout one. So I think this one's going to do really, really well as well. We haven't got a date on it just yet.
And do we keep the B-side a secret for now?
It's up to you.
I think we do actually. Yeah. Alright, sounds.
Little selling point, but banger, amazing, really recognisable, but at the same time, one for any discerning DJ sticking their set. Maybe Quartet.
Yeah. Hope you got this. I have tried to get it to him as well.
Yeah, of course you have. So we are really rolling now with your own sound.
We are.
Kind of embedded, you kind of got yourself like well established with it. So this is spawning other projects. So obviously we've got the private parts, which is kind of looking back, Ste edits.
Yeah.
We've got the Ste label. Got anything else?
Funny you ask. Yeah, what a great question. Yeah, so next up as well, and they'll all kind of like be a similar sort of time, is Adam and Steve.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Adam and Steve.
Adam and Steve. Well, look, have I got the right side here? So this is a project. It doesn't matter actually which side. We've got a double A side.
Yeah.
So this is a project born by myself and Adam Curtin, which is my London-based friend. And to be fair, actually, we started this project just like we just got into the studio together and using loads of analog kit and having a bit of a jammers. And then from that, like that happened like before lockdown, and then we've kind of like struggled to kind of get time together, but we've decided to kind of go down the route of the Adam and Steve. I think like what else could we call ourselves? Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a different sound to what I do by myself, which I'm kind of like I like as you know, I've kind of been around loads of different genres, and it's nice to kind of explore different elements, which if I was on my own I wouldn't do this sort of sound.
Yeah, probably not. And I think that like it's kind of interesting to see the Ste sound as it is. It stays quite well compartmentalised. You've got something very like unique, and it's your own sound. Considering all of the influences that you've had and everything that we've been through on this kind of like journey of musical influences today, it could be all over the place. It's very honed. It's very like crafted. So props to that. And then to be able to collab with somebody else and bring something completely different.
Yeah, and it
gives you this kind of sound, and it is very interesting.
Yeah, it's like we've got other records in the pipeline, and I've said it's going to be a unique label. We're only going to do 5 releases, and that's it. Yeah. Done. Like so,
grab 'em.
And we'll see what happens after that. But like, yeah, no, the idea for the label is literally like I think the first 4 releases are going to be us, and then the fifth will be the 5th and final will be a remix EP.
Brilliant.
Do you like it?
I love it. I love it. Unique, individual. Love
yeah.
it.
So this is Adam and Steve 001.
What's the track called?
This one's called My Life.
Cool. Let's let that one run. Perfect, straight into the breakdown. So we've got more. You were going to tell us about the second one before I cut you off rudely.
What, from the Adam and Steve?
Yeah.
So, well, the second one, we've just got more in the pipeline.
Cool.
Yeah, Adam and Steve will be the 5 records, and that's it.
Perfect.
And then moving on to a final record for myself.
Yeah.
It's another thing from me. This is my first solo EP since having a baby, and I've named it Eliza EP, obviously, cheesy as you like. You've got to do it, right? And this is coming out on a label called Faux Poly, which is run by the Cassian lads.
Amazing. Love the label, love the boys, the music, the sound's amazing.
Exactly.
So it suits you perfectly.
It's a nice fit, actually. They're really supportive of the music I'm doing. It's quite quick and easy. They asked me for a demo, I sent them some tracks, and they're like, we'll take this, and this.
Wicked.
And then they kind of did, you know, they're like, if you can like have a little revisit of the tracks and just give them a little bit of spice in, which definitely helped me make the tracks a bit better. But yeah, this is my own 4-track EP, Eliza EP coming out with Faux Poly.
And it's all your no collabs.
No collabs, just me, just Ste Roberts. And it's a bit of a different sound actually. So this is going back to like the breaky, electro sort of side.
Okay.
A bit more melancholy than what I've maybe released in the past, but then all 4 tracks are kind of different on this. So again, it's kind of like me experimenting a bit more, which happens when you buy synthesizers that you don't know how to use.
You're fudging your way trying to figure out how to use
it, and happy accidents happen. So,
but it makes a lot of sense for the Phobon label, because this kind of like sits nicely into their sound, gives you a different outlet.
Exactly, yeah.
And probably works really well.
Who are you? Took you after you. Took you after you. We can look out at the other people that haven't, and we can say, you haven't seen anything yet.
Steve, I love that, man.
Cheers, thank you.
What's that track called?
That's actually the lead track, and this one's called Eliza.
Right, cool, from the Eliza EP.
From the Eliza EP, and named after my daughter.
Nice,
Hi,
lovely,
Eliza.
mate.
She's
This is your daddy.
She won't have any idea what's going on. Can't even talk yet.
But maybe in years to come she can listen to that.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
When you're famous. Really, really famous. More famous than you are now. The voice of Rinse FM.
Voice of Rinse or Hypercolor Rinse, yeah.
So yeah, like you said, this is your first EP, Post Having Baby, on your own, on a different label. There's another label that you've got coming as well.
There's there's another release on another label. So I'm part of the VA with Holding Hands, which is another label you guys deal with. I'm the A side, and the track was called 1998 in London.
Yeah.
Going back in time, my homage to the London tech sound, which actually I'm
Can't
really
stop yourself. Dropping links
I'm
in,
getting
can't you?
in there, aren't I? So that's coming out. Obviously, the Eliza EP, the Adam and Steve, and then the exciting one, which isn't actually about my own productions yet. It might be down the line. Is obviously Private Parts, which is
well, that's going to be the one up next. That's October.
that is
Followed by any one of the any one of the 4 records.
Yeah. It's like quite busy at the
Busy
minute.
end of the year for you.
It really is.
But each of those records all uniquely and individually exciting. And a little bit later on today, you're going to be jumping on this little set
I've got
behind
ones and twos for you, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to have a nice exclusive mix from Steve. I hope you've enjoyed listening to Steve's journey and what's formed the sound. And yeah, keep it locked for next week's Unearthing New Vinyl. Peace and love, big up.
Cheers.
You are now listening to the sounds of
Unearthed.